Hi, it's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. I have another journal share for you. This one is called Contents, I guess because of all the contents that are inside this journal. I did put some plants and flowers in the front and some ribbons, so a little bit of a fabric collage here with a rose charm as well. And there are three different fabrics on the cover. The red one here in the front, and then the spine is in this green color. And in the back, it's again a different fabric that has these little squares, and it kind of goes with both of these. So it has some red in it and the green that comprise the whole cover. And then in on the spine, which is quite wide, at least 2 or maybe 2.5 inches, and well, let me see here. Yeah, 2.25 inches, and it has various buttons. It has some tulle on it, and it has a vintage doily as well. So quite a different spine than I normally do. It is a hidden spine, so the signatures are sewn in inside. And usually I put a tassel on this, but I thought I would just embellish the entire spine and make it a little bit different. So the size of this journal is 5.5 inches by 8 3/4, so almost 9 inches. So it opens nicely here, and we do have lots of antique ephemera here, including starting with the with this page here from a very old book, and it has a stamp on it, so I like that. Now I also have cloth underneath, and I did make a pocket here, and inside this pocket I have some vintage ephemera, such as this postcard, and I did, it had various writing in the back, not the usual nice one that we usually see, so I put this printed rose on it. And here's a small one about the Shakespeare Theatre in Stratford, I believe, England. And a beautiful, spring or summer scene that we're waiting for again. And a little June filing card, or in French as well here. So that is from the side tuck over here. And then over here, we have this beautiful doily here. And a few things. So first of all, a nice coffee stained paper as well. Some birds. It's like a double page that you can use for collaging or somewhere else. And then this postcard. Also a beautiful bright day somewhere. And a little card that I made with butterflies, beautifully coffee stained on the back as well. And this is from a vintage book about Mexico, and some different structures and architecture they have there. A little bit of a button here, and a fabric cluster. And this is from a Victorian book. Beautiful, beautiful designs on vases and teapots, it looks like. In here as well, just gorgeous colors. And here of a bit of a fabric sample and a book sample. And this beautiful ledger paper. Also, I just put wording on walks. When you go on walks, maybe. This I had in a box of some personal ephemera from someone a long time ago. And this is The Girl in the Glass, either a poem or a song, I'm not sure. I did add a little bit of ribbon on there. But in the back, it's all blank, so you can write on that. And a little bit of collaging here on the pocket as well. And there's a birdie. A little bit of flower on this vintage music paper. And it does have an extension here that I added with this beautiful card with flowers or plants. I'm not sure exactly. Maybe it's the fire bush. I'm not sure. And a little bit of eyelash trim here. And in the back is vintage book page for writing. In here as well. This is also from the Victorian book with lots and lots of the Victorian colors. And this is possibly like a Valentine, or it's got lots of hearts anyways. Something of that sort. A little bit more cluster here and ribbon, something I printed here. So I do combine the new with the old. I do like that. And I do include a lot of vintage ephemera, like this one is from a vintage book. This lady here, she's very much in thought. And then here, looks like she is maybe fencing. And looking quite glamorous while doing that. And this is a bit of old book page in here as well. And it's showing some kind of a bill on this one. And here as well, beautiful, beautiful writing on that one. And also a collage here of the old paper. And here I put it in a protective plastic sleeve because it is quite old and very fragile, as the old paper is. So I can't always sew on it or even just put it in the journal because it does have lots of fragile parts. I left this as it is, but it looks like it is somebody showing you how to make a slip point of needle. Something about maybe knitting, but very beautiful, beautiful antique paper. So if I can find the beginning of it, where it opens, there we go. Okay, I'll put it back in its little folder here. And of course, this is very fragile paper itself. There are a couple of tickets. And this opens up here. A little bit of shiny golden leaves. And this is from Dictionary of Culinary Terms. And a little bit from that book with some recipes maybe, or some kind of instructions. Also beautiful vintage paper. And here I included a rose, hybrid tea rose, and some ribbon on the top. And beautiful, just beautiful muted colors in this one. You can always add something underneath if you really wish. Something, different. And here I also have fabric that's very similar to that. And I patched up the page to be a little bit longer because it was half a page, and from Butterick pattern paper, and it looks pretty good. And more roses here as well, and some more cooking. And here, I love this one here. The color on this, as far as like very pastel colors of bread, pie, and so on. Some ingredients that you might be using for cooking. So very vintage. And this is from the Edith Holden book. Her beautiful flowers. And a little pocket here that I made. And inside are a few things that you might use. And glue in the journal yourself. And then here's a little bit of yellow fabric to go with this yellow here as well. And the yellow, if that is a buttercup, I'm really not sure. I don't know if it says anything. These are just some writing spots in here that you can glue, you know, here or somewhere. And here is a beautiful mini postcard, one of those that I have a few of and I like to use because it shows lots of different places, and most of them are sepia color, and that just gives it that vintage look. Very beautiful, and it looks like it was glued somewhere in a photo album once upon a time. And a little bit more vintage paper, and some black ribbon on this one to go on top of this pinkish and ribbon and blue paper that I made, and then added a little bit of writing spot here. And here's a beautiful depiction, again, from the Victorian book of the different collectibles that the Victorians did. And a little bit more cluster here. And then also a personal mission statement from someone that you might want to read. I did read it. It's quite inspiring, and I like the writing on it, so I thought I would include that. A little bit of space for writing. And here as well, this pull out, and then you can also pull up. And this is from vintage, what do you call it? The wrapping paper. You know, when they used to come in squares. And this one is very, very pretty with the vintage colors and yellow and greenish and postage stamps. Very nice. And more of the flower on top of the music paper, and a little bit of ledger paper. And in this pocket, this is fabric that looks like maybe like straw or something color, but it is fabric. And then I put a button, a bit of orange on top, or burlap. Looks like very fine burlap maybe. And this, I don't know, it came with the postcards. Maybe there was a top layer. It is embossed. I'm not sure if you can tell that it's embossed. And you can either write on it or leave it as it is. It is still very pretty. Looks like with an Cupid in the middle and some roses on the side. And I like the color of it as well. To go with this beige over here. And then over here is from a book spine. Little piece there. A few more plates. Beautiful, beautiful sailboats. Dill soup, and a little bit of ingredients which you need for dill soup. Beautiful coffee staining here. And so this is the end of the first signature. There are 3 signatures, so we'll get through that still. And then this is the doily from the front, and this beautiful photograph. Looks like it says Baby Alan. Baby Alan. Maybe with father. Very candid photo, very beautiful. And then a blue envelope that I made, and with a postage stamp. And inside are a few things that you might use. Also very fragile paper from vintage books, and a little poem from that scrapbook that I have. So a couple of things in there that you can check out. And over here I have a bit of a applique, I believe. So over here is a beautiful iris. It looks like a purple iris, just beautiful, and happen to have ribbon that's in the same color. And a little bit more vintage paper in the back. You know, a bit to write on and a bit to read what that's about. And then here's a piece of doily as well, and vintage buttons. And this one is actually, it has a name on here, and the price was $1.35 for these 2 beautiful blue buttons. And here's another page from one of those small booklets that we used to collect from different companies. This one is Eagle brand, and perfect ice cream mix. Just the colors are just so beautiful here. This sepia here with the red, and that's why I included a bit of red here as well. Just gorgeous. And so about ice creams, again, very fragile, so handle it with care. And a bit of a charm here, and also a fabric cluster. And ribbon over here to go with this beautiful print. It is on vellum, lightweight paper. I really like it. I happened to find it somewhere, and I thought, oh my goodness, that's seems fragile, but no, it is quite sturdy and prints beautifully. Here's, I believe maybe that's one of those buttons here. I did have a couple more elsewhere, so I put one over here, and I did some stenciling. And here is another vintage piece of paper. This one has an ad over here with these beautiful colors, and in the back is salute to the flag, so a bit of an article, so you can use that somewhere or just keep it in the journal. Bit of a writing spot here. This is from a sewing book, and here's some plants and a bit of ribbon that you can snip off and put somewhere else. Here I have Edith Holden and scrapbook paper for double pockets here. This is either rice paper or like collaging paper, and it has this beautiful flower. So you can, you know, either collage with it or just keep it as it is in here for collection. And then here's a beautiful interior of a church. So this one's in Zagreb, Croatia, and postcard. It is more modern postcard, but just beautiful to look at, and very soft colors and golden and so on to go with contents journal. Collaging, and this is from personal recipe notes from the vintage cookbook, and then you can put your own notes here, or maybe a recipe if you have one. So it's on both sides. Very, very beautifully aged paper. And this is from a dictionary, like one of those books with pictures on it, and a little bit more of fabric here. And as well, also a double pocket here, and a playing card in the beautiful pinkish color, in a bit of fabric on the top. A little bit more shiny leaves here on this beautiful blue. And then here, Baseball Hall of Fame. So there's something to look at, interesting a little bit. You can read about it and just take a look at what's in the picture. So it is from a vintage book, and I also added a bit of a flower here and something about Babe Ruth and baseball on television. And here are some berries, it looks like. English rose wafers. So this is also from a cookbook, and look at this. You can have any one of these cakes if you are a good baker, or if you want to just try something. I'm not the greatest baker, but I try something on occasion, and this is just a beautiful table setting with all the colors, and you can just smell these cookies. Over here is a flip out, and it has a beautiful garden here. Looks like maybe lavender, just the gorgeous colors. And I do have a bit of a lace over here, and over here just a little bit of some sort of cloth, and then a statue for the garden, and some eyelash trim here as well. And then over here I made this tuck spot here with some sari silk, and just some holes I added, and I put the sari through and tied it in the back, and it does hold something. And this is like a floating pocket, and then inside are just a couple of things that either you might glue somewhere else or you could write on in the back. Whatever it is that you would like to do with it. And you can probably put more underneath this because it's not, you know, overly tight, so that it can hold a little bit more. And plus it's protected with the page on top, and here is the little bow from that, and the bottom part. A bit more from the dictionary. This is the other side of the recipe location, and just some collaging here, and here the Edith Holden poppies, just beautiful. And this is a photo that I printed of a city view, beautiful bustling town somewhere back in the day. And then this is a pocket as well that I left empty for you to fill. A little bit more about roses. And eyelash trim collage on the sewing book page. Toss, and so on. Just whatever words I find somewhere. Sometimes it sort of means something to me, and so I cut it out and put it here. So this is a collaged bird here, and collaged journaling card, and it has a little bit of writing in the back. From another gardening book, it opens up, and you got lines here to write on, and flowers here to look at. Don't send me flowers when I'm dead. Send them now so I can enjoy them. Thank you. And then a little bit of lace on top here. More ribbon that goes so beautifully with this page. And over here is a bit of a journaling card. It's got a cactus on it on this one. And also this little piece of fabric that I put here just so beautifully with this color, with a bit of the green as well. And over here, somebody made some notes. I don't know if you get around to reading it. This is the other side of the ice cream. And it looks like you get different types of ice creams that you can make. The ice cream ad. Hints for using the ice cream freezer. Here, a bit of a button on top of ribbon. And then this is the third signature here in this doily pocket. Or, I don't know if you can see it. How can I show you that? It's a negative here of, looks like 3 people. So there are two separate negatives. You know, if you look at it against the light, you can see it. And if you can take a picture of it against something white, then when you go to your editor and pull up the picture and press negative, you can see the positive of that picture. Unless you have a better idea, let me know. And then in this lace pocket, a little bit ribbon here. The birdie, the digital collage of mine. And then I made just a very small booklet on this one. Writing spots, and here as well. So a bit of a notebook here. Okay. Cluster over here, a little bit of Minnesota map, and some different collectibles from an antique book. Here's a charm, and also fabric cluster. Beautiful tea sets, And then this is from a very old magazine I have. It's on page 97. Not quite yet, but maybe we're on page 97. And here's a pocket here with some fibers. And just some, it looks like different plates maybe, or possibly embroidery. You know those circles, the wood circles that hold embroidery. And then this is a book page. A bit of vintage lace here. And this is a pocket you can put something into. This is the Indian paper. And a button over here. Dictionary of culinary terms. A bit more of the different apple, snow, and so on. More than neighbors and friends. So this is from an old vintage book. Also beautiful summer depiction. And this birdie, she's carrying something, some kind of fibers for her nest. Here's some ribbon, and this is something I printed. And here's a vintage little card that, you know, normally I put with a small gift or flowers. And this one is from Laura's Secret Candy Shops. Very cute for mother. And then here are some old papers. And a little bit more about gardening. And from the Victorian book of household goods. So lots of, looks like maybe butter dishes, teacups, serving trays, and so on. Just beautiful color and beautiful designs on all these, all the dishware here. Just gorgeous. And the gardening book, growing succulents. And a bit of a writing spot. I have this book about birds, and it's got all the birds' names on top, and then it's for people who bird watch, and they can write their notes if they've seen such a bird, and when and where, and so on. This is a little playing card from Scotland. You got 9 of hearts. Postage stamp. Another birdie with a little bit of fiber for her nest. Ribbon on top. A little bit more of architecture. And cooking tips. And this is from the scrapbook I have of poems. Very old, as you can tell. It's glued on top of the black scrapbook paper, or like the old photo album paper. Bit of a strip over here. And then some postage stamps here on top of this fabric pocket. And these are rose hips maybe? I'm not sure, but beautiful red color. And I put the pattern paper in the back too for writing. And this one says, you choose or you chose? You chose this. So a fabric sample here of roses, very soft. And then more flowers here from a book. And then ledger paper to write on. And this is the white bread. It does have a little tear in it. I didn't fix it because I could have, but it is vintage. If it bothers you, just put a piece of tape over it. But it is very vintage, and that's how it was. And here's another pocket. You can put something in, and more from vintage collections from an antique book, antique collections. Map. And then this I had with my buttons, and I thought, well, why don't I use this already? It's really one of those for a belt, the little frame where you put this into the belt hole, and then, but it did hold with the fabric tech glue, and it's fine. It's fine as far as a charm. Instead of a charm, I put that on there. And then in the back here, let's see what we have here. We have dictionary page. Then we have happy birthday card with these beautiful flowers, violets, and then boat and sea theme here. And then somebody's beautiful writing. And a whole page sort of postage stamps, different ones, and then one was missing, so I put this one on, Queen Elizabeth, in this beautiful pocket here, and with my logo. So all vintage things here. And then this is from a book that I had, paperback book in French, and it was quite old, and this was in memoriam of someone who started writing books, I believe, after he was learning in a one-room schoolroom. So you have a bit of history here about that book and what it meant and so on. So I thought that was very nice. And I didn't want to, although it's paperback, I didn't want to just glue on top of it. I like the colors and I like the writing. And I just added a bit of color down here. And this here is a pocket here. This is a bit of an extra. It is from a book here where, you know, in the front it says contents. And I like this one because it's very old and it's got some writing on top as well. So you can see Laura. And then at the back I put the end because it's the end of the journal. And yeah, so this is the contents. Junk journal that is now completed. And in my shop, it does have lots of pages, lots of authentic ephemera, and I hope you check it out and maybe pick it up. I appreciate you watching. Thank you. Have a great day. It's Rosie at RoseByNameCo. Bye-bye.